This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And it is Yom Shlishi, third day of the week, the 17th day of Tevet. Tov is 17 in Hebrew, in Gematria. It's the Tov, it's the good day of Tevet. And the year is 5786. The weekly Torah portion is Shemot, or Shemos. We start the new book of Exodus this week. And also a period in Judaism called the Shovavim. And some people even take it 2 weeks longer, calling the Shovavim Tat. Shovavim is an acronym that stands for the names of the next 6 Torah portions that will come in succession, the next 6 weeks, which Shovavim is Shemot, Va'era, Bo, Bishalach, Yitro, Mishpatim. Those are 6 weeks. And some people take it even a step further, saying Tat. Tat is Teruma Tetzaveh. So the next 8 weeks will be Shovavim Tat. And it's an important time. It's an very interesting, intense time in a way. But it's characterized by... it depends which way you want to take it, really. But I always take it with a positive spin to it. But it's a time for correction. It's a time for rectification of various personal sins. And it has a winter feel to it. It's in the winter, which adds its own character to it. But enough about that, I think, for now. Today on the calendar, this calendar here is a double calendar, not just double. It's many calendars in one. In fact, I had an idea of making a calendar that is really the calendar of calendars. It's a multi-purpose, multi-calendar calendar that its purpose is to calculate and dwell upon Gematria. And the method that I've been doing lately is just solar and lunar, which is you add the number of the solar month that's represented by the Gregorian calendar, because it is a solar calendar, and the box of the lunar month represented in the Hebrew calendar, because the Hebrew calendar is a lunar calendar. So January 6th always comes out in this box right here. And that's not just true for January, it's true for any month in this dispensation. So Tevet 6 was right here. Tishrei 6th was right here. Nisan the 6th was right here. And April 6th was right here. July 6th is right here. Tammuz 6th is right here. And any other cardinal month would be right here. And the box on the box is printed 1. And it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it has a special sequence that it goes in based on a verse in the book of Leviticus for a different time. But today the number for the solar is 1 and the number for the lunar is 14. When we were on the 17th day of Tammuz, that was a fast day. It was a Sunday, I believe. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday this past year, being in 2025. It's right here. 14. It doesn't matter what month you're in. As long as it's a cardinal month, and if you don't know what a cardinal month is, you can look up online. It's very accessible. Basic astrology. the types of months that there are. Cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And that's what this calendar is needed for. You just need one calendar, and you can plug all the different months into here. This is 90 days, it's a quarter of a year. And it doesn't matter what the months are because the format is just the same. It's 90 days. And you just plug each 3 months into it, and that's a calendar that can be for many calendars, lunar or solar, and it can be for the whole year, not just 3 months, but it's just every 3 months it resets, goes to the top. And so here's an example of the method that I've been using to calculate gematria. Just before I start that, you might have noticed that in the past maybe month or so, you've seen this clock here in the background. And you might be wondering why. Because a clock is like a calendar. But for my purposes, it's used in the same way that a calendar is used. I've been, over the past several years, developing a system of calculating gematria based on time. As time moves on and progresses, so does one's gematriatic knowledge base. And it's moved about by the time because, I don't know about you, but I've noticed that time has this quality that it keeps moving by itself. In the way that more than just the obvious, the clock hands move, or we go in a certain way down the calendar or up the calendar, sideways, wherever you want to go, but there's something that's moving time along. What is that? I mean, you could say it's the rising and setting of the sun, the moon. That's for time and seasons, yeah, but what's causing that to move? There's a motion there that my effort and thoughts are to harness the energy of that movement and use it to build your mind in the gematriatic connectivity of things. They're talking a lot about a singularity now on the social media, especially on X. I don't know about other places, but on X, I see the word singularity mentioned a lot. Singularity is, the way I understand it, just layman's terms. I mean, I don't know exactly what it means, but from what I gather, it's some kind of convergence of things into one thing. But everything just starts to meld into, it's like a melting pot that just everything starts to fuse into each other and become one thing. And so the reason why I'm putting a clock here is because a clock is very much like a calendar in my purpose, and whoever's interested, in that it calculates gematria. Gematriona is the program that calculates gematria based on clock time, and the PL-89 is the program that calculates gematria based on calendar time. And so let's get back to the thing here. So 1 is the sun and 14 is the moon. You add them together, that makes 15. So when I have 15, what do? It's kind of hard to do anything with letters with 15 because you won't get that. The 15th letter in English is O. So what can you do with O? You can list a bunch of words that start with O. You can do it that way. The 15 in Hebrew, you could say Tedvav. How many words can you make with that? I mean, you could just do maybe Rosh Tevot, meaning acronyms, but that's one method that you could do. But here's the method that I think might be more effective, is that there's a way of it really increasing the number of the same thing if you're spelling it out in the full word, obviously, right? Because it just has more letters. But here's the thing. If you write out a word, it's a number, your mind will register the same thing. If I write 15 F-I-F-T-E-N, and then I write the number 1 and a 5, it means the same thing, right? The only difference is that if I write it out with letters, the gematriatic result, which means the numerical value that I'll get, will be much higher. And that might be more appropriate to use for different words in different languages that have, let's say, a higher value. And you want to put this idea together, you want to make it match with those words. So here's how I've been doing it. You take the lunar and the solar, 1 plus 14 is 15. And then you write out the number 15, F-I-F-T-E-N, and you get its numerical value. What is the numerical value of the word 15? I'll save you some time. It's 65. If you go to Gematria Calculator, there's plenty of them out there today. Some of the main ones are Gematrix or Gematrix. There's also a Gematrinator, and you have several others as well. And you just the cipher that you choose is English ordinal. There's different names for the same cipher, but it's the basic English gematria cipher. You could simple English, English ordinal, or what else is there? Yeah, that's basically it. It's basically where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, like that, up until 26, which Z is 26. There's 26 letters. That is known as either simple English gematria. It's also referred to as English ordinal gematria. Some people refer to it as English gematria, but those are the names that you'll find on the web. Now, if you do that and you put the word 15 in there, you're going to get 65, because F is 6 and I is 9 and F is 6 and T is 20, etc. like that. You add it together, it's going to be 65. Then the next step in this process is you get a list of words that equal 65. So that means that you will say 15 equals 65, which equals 7, the word 7, S-E-V-E-N, interestingly enough, has the same value as the word 15. Okay? 7, Andrew, White, today, music, Florida, Fairfax, Pepsi, Marcella, comedy, music, comedy. I said comedy. Anger. Nope. Angry. That's what it is. Angry. And I think you get the idea. So once you have those words, then you start to make connections between them. Is a comedian angry? I don't know. Maybe they're letting out their anger through comedy. How's comedy like music? They're both can be entertaining. Florida, White. I think that Paula White, at least at one time, was in Florida. Might still be. And then you see the process. You start connecting things. And then you think like, it could even be the silliest thing. It could be like, were you ever in Los Angeles? Maybe in Virginia it's also. The word Fairfax might ring a bell. Fairfax is a famous street in Los Angeles. And that was my stomping grounds for many years. Fairfax. Fairfax. Did you ever drink a Pepsi on Fairfax? I don't know if I did, but Pepsi equals Fairfax. What do you think about that? Pepsi equals 65. And Fairfax equals 65. Did you ever drink a Pepsi on Fairfax?